Welcome back. Now let's start the program in earnest. Nigeria has been struggling to cope with crude oil prices that have slid more than 50% over the last 2 years. And inflation has been rising. It's supposed to be at its highest since about, in the last 10 years, it's supposed to be at its highest right now. And foreign exchange restrictions have added to the woes of Nigeria because of falling oil prices. Nigeria has earned a lot less than it used to earn from its oil. On Wednesday, though, the CBN officially announced a new foreign exchange policy, which a lot of people had been looking forward to. So, are we there yet? What is this policy going to do to Nigeria's economy? This and many such questions we're going to ask three economists who are joining us this morning. In the studio in Lagos, it's my pleasure to welcome Mr. Bayo Durodola. Good morning.
Good morning. Morning, Nigeria.
As well as Mr. Oji Udemezwe.
Good morning.
Both economists. And joining us from our studio in Abuja is Mr. Tokwe Fashua. Mr. Fashua, can you hear us?
Good morning.
Good morning. Good to hear your voice. Now, let me begin with you, sir. We've heard a lot of analysis since Wednesday, since the CBN announced the new foreign exchange policy. To your mind, does this mean that the economy is going to bubble from here on in?
First of all, I think I want to start by saying good morning, and at the same time, congratulations, not to you now, but to the economic policy makers and managers in this country, and to the leaders of this nation. We have held several sessions, even in this studio, and and other platforms, where we have said we could not continue to do what we're doing as a nation, bleeding, ourselves to death in the effort to curb, to peg the naira at a particular point, to boost our ego, to say that our currency is well valued, and that has taken almost a year plus to take this action. And that wait, that delay has cost this nation almost its life. That delay has, more than damaged this economy, has brought us to a point, of crisis. So to take this decision at this point, for me, it is quite late in the day. We all know that. But the issue is, what are the prospects now the decision has been taken? One is that...
Better late than never, right?
Better late than never, I would say. So the point is that we will not expect that now this decision has been taken, things will just begin to roll so fast. No. A lot of damage has been done, and it will certainly take a while before those damages are even repaired, before we begin to see some positive effect of this policy. It's a policy too late in the day, but it's a policy that will, if well managed, can still see us out of the woods. So that's the general assessment, my assessment of this policy. We can go into the specifics, if the time comes.
Okay, Mr. Durodola, can you please just break down this policy so that the common man understands exactly what this is about? Because you economists are making so much noise about it. Oh, thank God, finally. But what does it really mean?
Thank you so much, presenters. That's a damn lot of an Herculean task. Like one of my bosses put it yesterday, the issue of FX and how much constraints that's created in the economy, as well as those for and those against situation we have seen in the past, despite, as he put it, how much issues it has created for us in terms of crisis, has created what we call the 1%ers against the 99%ers. The 99%ers are the ones Madam is asking me to break this whole thing down for. But to put it a bit succinctly, what we have here is a situation where the 99%ers, which I think I belong as well, will claim I don't travel, I don't have kids abroad, I don't, whatever. But the real thing is that more than 70% of household consumption in Nigeria is imported. Statistically speaking, National Bureau of Statistics and our inflation says that 50% of our food basket is imported. In fact, there is a component we have in there now that is 13% of the entire basket in inflation. So what it meant is that whether you are directly importing, you don't have key abroad or not, whatever you put on your table, we've agreed on that. Everybody, one way or the other, are directly or indirectly affected by this. But what this has done for us, basically, is a situation where rather than every individual who needs to bring things that are useful to all as even basic, including toothpicks, which is part of the 41 items that we have banned today. We have banned today. You still have to find a way to get it through the CBN. But what we have done now is to say everyone who can have access to this currency can make it available to everyone who also needs it. And everybody must agree that whenever market rules, the ingenuity of individuals, entrepreneurs, players, consumers, gets us to a point where the pricing is efficient. The biggest problem of our FX issue, as Oji has succinctly described it today, is our inability to manage pricing mechanism. But what we have done now is to begin a very bold step toward ensuring that we can stabilize that situation. So for everybody, for all Nigerians, what this means for us is that right now, we can easily walk to the bank and buy whatever we want to buy, whether local or abroad.
Before now, if you had to travel, you want your BTA, you want dollars for whatever reason, you can walk to your bank. Not in the recent past. You could walk to your bank and say, okay, this is my visa, I'm traveling to, I need so amount. So what is the difference now? Because you still have to get to the bank. And again, long before now, President Muhammadu Buhari has been saying that he's not going to devalue the naira. So what is the difference between what we have now and devaluation? Okay,
what we actually have now is technically a devaluation, which we have tried so hard to avoid. But why couldn't we avoid it? While we insisted that we would defend the naira, over that period, we were killing the country. Now let me begin to talk about specifics. The dynamics about exchange rate is very critically about how much foreign exchange do you get in when you export items, compared with how much exchange, foreign exchange do you need to import things as an importing nation. So you look at the issue of supply of forex and demand for forex. Now, prior to now, before we had the sustained low price of crude oil, Nigeria was getting some reasonable amount of foreign exchange income through oil revenue. Of course, we all know that oil used to, and maybe still constitutes, almost 92 or 95% of our foreign exchange earnings. And of course, about 70% of our total revenue as a country. So you find that when you bring in foreign exchange, then you have enough in your kitchen to supply to those who want to import. So that's that dynamics of demand and supply. So we would say that in the past, we tended to have some reasonable level of supply compared to demand. So our currency appeared over a period of time, almost 3-4 years, we had a stable currency, where the gap between the official rate and that of the prior market rate, was so narrow. And that behavior did not come with it. Okay, now fast forward to June 2014, when oil price was as high as $110 per barrel. And then suddenly we began to see, supply, excess supply issues, curtailed demand, still after the effect of economic crisis that several jurisdictions, Europe, America has had. Now let me, make it faster. Now, Nigeria had a huge drop in our foreign exchange earnings, where a commodity that constituted 90% of our export basket, that had a price of $110 per barrel, now went from that to as low as 32, 33 recently, before this small little rally that we saw, came about. So what it meant was that if you used to earn, let's say, $1 billion in a day, for example, what you now earn is less than 300 million, dollars. And from that, you have to finance so many other things.